Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, April 30th. Prices of BTC currently at 5,185. It looks like overnight we did break this white descending trend line, right? We were getting rejected by it quite a bit, and we were actually creating lower lows. But then finally we struck a higher low right there, and then we moved up another higher low, and then we finally broke through it. Okay, so typically, guys, one thing to note is things look bullish when we have higher lows like this, but also higher highs like that. Okay, things look somewhat bearish when we have a lower high. We have a low right there, another lower high, but a higher low. Okay, so this is more so of a consolidation, maybe turning bearish, but not just yet. Things look really bearish when we have a high created, right? And then we have a lower high, and then we have a lower low, another lower high, and another lower low. This is basically the definition of a bear trend starting. Okay, now that depends whatever time frame you're looking at it on, but as you can see, that very definition can be applied here, where you see a high right there, a low created right there, a lower high, and then another lower low, right? But then we turn by saying, okay, here's a lower high, but then here's a higher low, a lower high, another higher low, and then boom, breakout. Now here's a higher high, and now the trend has essentially changed. Okay, it's changed as per this little area right here. It hasn't changed as per this previous high right there. Okay, but in the the more immediate price action right here, it's definitely changed. All right, I hope that makes sense. But now that we face 5,190, as you can see, we are still hitting this descending trend line that we've been held down by. There's a touch right there, another touch, 3 touches, and now we're meeting our 4th touch right there. Okay, for the most part, I did expect to get rejected again, but if we do keep up with our higher lows right there, right, we should pull back just a little bit right around there, and then try to aim towards that 5220, 5300 just to be safe, right? So once we start closing above this area right here, which is also the high of this wick, then I'll feel a little bit safer that we can keep on moving up towards 54, 55, 5600. But for the most part, first we at least need to see some closings above these candles right here, and then 5220, 5300. So just like price breaks down, price has to repair itself the same way on the way back up. All right, so those are the key levels that we're waiting for. All right, till then, I still remain in cash. Ethereum, US dollar. Let's see how Ether is doing. As you can see, Ether is coming really, really close to this, ascending trend line that we've held since December and a February touch right there. I would probably say at some point it's going to touch this area, especially if BTC even bleeds just a little bit. Ethereum is, almost highly exaggerated in its bleeding. Same with LTC, I would say. So for the most part, actually this bounced off really perfectly on this trend line. See, guys, technicals work, as you can see. And the thing is, with BTC, the way it moves, it's no surprise that some of these patterns that we see, guys, like for example, this ascending trend line that even Litecoin held, right? Just like Ethereum had an ascending trend line. And just like actually, if you look at Bitcoin, it has its own ascending trend line, kind of like this, right? It has this touch right here, this touch right here, but it also has, say, this touch and these couple of touches right there. Okay, sort of like that. Now, obviously for Bitcoin, we are far more extended from this trend line right here, but we know that Ethereum and LTC and majority of the alts have an exaggerated move of percent up or down whenever BTC even sneezes. So it's no surprise that they are already meeting critical support and resistance levels when BTC moves up and down just a couple percent, right? So anyway, back to Ethereum. For the most part, I do expect this ascending trend line to be touched at some point, just like LTC I just showed you. Why? Because when it comes to having bulls step up and defend their positions, it's usually these longer trend lines like this that the average smart trader or algorithm or bot will come and defend their position because they see the same thing that you and I are looking at right now, okay? And they're not going to want to go underwater in their positions, so they will defend their positions, all right? Now this not only comes from trend lines, but it also comes sometimes from moving averages, Ichimoku clouds, maybe even the RSI levels. It depends how they trade, how they're programmed to trade. But in our community, obviously, we look at everything, right? Okay. Let's take a look at BCH. BCH I haven't really checked out much, but BCH I think would probably be coming down somewhere close to, actually it's pretty far extended away from its trend line too. But I bet it touched one of these right there. Actually, it sort of broke below it. This is a fan trend line, guys. Remember I explained this. Usually, what happens in an asset is when it's climbing up or down, you'll have a deeper, more pronounced trend line, which is something like this, where you have one touch, price moves away from it sharply, comes back, comes to test it months later, and then it creates a steeper angle where price, essentially may come back a little bit faster to this trend line because it's at a higher inclined angle, and it just means that price is actually more bullish, depending on if the fan trend line is up or down. So in this case, price is more bullish in this fan trend line versus this one, right? Because it's more pronounced gains and price is at a steeper angle, okay? But for the most part, it looks like we are sort of breaking under this trend line, and if it faces rejection right there, if it faces rejection right there, then we expect this area to hit, which could be kind of devastating for BCH because it could technically bring us down to, I don't know, somewhere around 185 to 200, honestly, okay? So that could be a tough little drawdown if BTC does decide to fall. But like I stated, for the most part, BTC is still sort of doing its thing and moving, or trying to do its best to move towards that 5200, 5222 area that we're talking about. Hasn't quite done it yet. Let's check out BAT, a trade that we're sort of patiently waiting on. Same thing with BAT, right, guys? As you can see, the technicals of BAT with these descending trend lines almost hold up perfectly when BTC is going down. And this is why, whether price kept moving over here or over here, I did not, for the most part, jump into BAT. I stated that I'm still 100% in cash, and I remain 100% in cash until we see a definitive sign from the market to give us a signal to jump in, okay? And we're not seeing that right now, okay? It's just crystal clear, right? So we're waiting on BTC, which again dominates the market, to give us a sign to jump in. All right, let's check XRP. XRP had a huge pump, it looks like. Probably not big enough, I guess, but this is an interesting shift in XRP because we haven't had quite a higher low in XRP like this right here. Because as you can see, the bleeding was essentially, well, actually we did a little bit right there. Here's that big pump, a bit of a higher low, and then it came down with a lower high and then lower high, and then just kept, resuming its downtrend, right? So for the most part, what you really want to see when an asset is ready to move, guys, is you want to see the previous resistance levels be overtaken and controlled by the bulls. So in this case, the first level to be overtaken is the 6100 Satoshi level right there. Because as you can see, it was previous support. It touched once right there, pretty much touched right there, and then it just resumed and fell down, right? So now you want to see price at least break above this level, climb it, hold it, bounce off of it. So kind of like this, right? You want to see it broken, climb it, hold it, consolidate, touch it as support, boom, keep on moving up. Okay, so if you want to take a trade, it might be somewhere above this area right here, so 65, 6600 to be safe. If you truly want to be safe, you want to wait above this blue level. I know sometimes you pay a higher price, guys, but you do have to pay the price for confirmation. And for the most part, when you have good confirmation, you don't have to worry about the price going against you, so easily, right? Okay, folks, I think that essentially wraps it up. I'll take a look at TRX real quick. It is bouncing off this trend line too. Again, it is of no surprise, guys, that a majority of these alts, even the big five like XRP or Litecoin, Ethereum, BCH, they're all coming to critical support levels, even though Bitcoin itself is not really anywhere near critical support, right? But these are, because remember that when Bitcoin moves even a hair, majority of these alts are just falling apart, right? And it's of no surprise that they are, and they're all sitting near critical support. So if there's one of these random days where Bitcoin decides to fall a couple $100 more, you could kiss these supports goodbye. TRX could essentially fall all the way down to maybe high 300s, or way down here to that full retrace of 307 or 300 satoshis. Okay, so this is why BTC is sitting at a very peculiar spot, and it needs to make a move soon. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. Come join the Advantage program, guys. We do a lot of analysis. I do daily analysis just like this for our community, and I provide multiple updates through the day. So come join, and I hope to see you soon. All right, cheers. Have a great day.